Welcome to all the bold, courageous, and powerful women tuning into Find Your Fabulous. I'm your host, Dr. Diane, and it's time to ignite your full power. Are you ready to embrace your talents and worth and unleash the wise goddess within? I've got the information, inspiration, and revelation you need to ignite your personal power so you can stop playing small and reclaim the passion and purpose that we all hold within us. Connect with other powerful spiritual women who yearn to be fully expressed. The world needs you. Full power. Let me guide you to find your fabulous and ignite your inner goddess. It all starts now on the Find Your Fabulous show. Hello, everyone. Dr. Diane Garrison, and you are listening to Find Your Fabulous. It's time to ignite your full power on Transformation Talk Radio. Stay with us for the next 30 minutes and let us help you experience the pathway to finding your fabulous every first and third Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time, 10 a.m. Central Time, and 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where we will have information, inspiration, and revelation to help you ignite your personal power and reclaim the passion and purpose we all hold within us. I am here with my fabulous producer, Emily. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning, Dr. Diane.
In this episode, we are going to explore the concept of the process of change. Change is the only constant in the universe, and yet it scares us. Let's explore why this is true and how we can work with our fear and resistance to step into the growth and transformation we truly desire. You know, I have had many clients tell me as they enter my practice for healing and growth, I hate change. I lovingly joke with them, well, you change your underwear every day, don't you? Here's the point. We don't hate change. We fear it. Well, why is that such a human truth? Except for the few daredevils and adventurers in the world, who are obviously wired very different than most of us, we humans love to create and snuggle up in our comfort zones. Does that feel true for you? Moving from our comfort zones, even when we purposely are trying to grow and change, creates anxiety and fear. What if the changes don't work? What if I can't change? What if I'm left off in a worse place if I do change? What if I fail? Here's an example. When a couple's getting ready to marry, it is very common for one or the other, or maybe both partners, to get the proverbial cold feet. They are choosing to become a family. They love each other. They have spent months planning the celebration, but a niggling of doubt enters. Is this the right choice? It comes creeping in. Now, this is completely normal, completely human when we face big changes. And with support, most folks can overcome their anxiety. So, then why are we so afraid of change? Well, it's built into our very neurophysiology. Let me break this down for you. So we have 3 levels of consciousness. The conscious mind, which has reason and analysis, imagination, memory, and perception. But the captain of the conscious mind is the ego, which is the interface with the outside world and whose big job is to keep us safe. Now, then we have an unconscious mind, some call our subconscious mind, which is not in our everyday awareness and is the huge data warehouse of all our beliefs, memories, and experience. Our program, so to speak, which, when triggered, create a lot of automatic behaviors and reactions. Unfortunately, about 70% of these programs are negative because we've been blessed with a nervous system that is more in tune with negative information than positive. That worked for early humanity who lived in caves and faced constant dangers. Now, it just makes us neurotic, anxious, and pessimistic. Does that ring true for you? Luckily, we also have a superconscious mind or our higher self, or what I believe is our soul self that can connect easily to spirit, the quantum field, and the very energy and intelligence of all life. It can, when activated, help us notice our stuck patterns, help heal our old negative programs, and wisely see the deeper truth of who we truly are. However, the soul self does not intrude itself in our daily lives. We must turn inward and connect to it in order to reap the benefits of its wisdom. Now, most folks don't know how to easily connect to their soul self. It is not something taught in school. It is something we must choose to learn and practice, and we'll talk more about that later. So, the unconscious mind and the ego are in constant contact. The unconscious mind is always on the lookout for danger, real or imagined. When some outside event triggers one of our old programs, the unconscious mind, worried we are in danger, triggers a stream of negative thoughts in our conscious mind. We go into protect mode one way or another, triggering more negative thoughts and feelings of anxiety or fear, which in turn trigger habitual and defensive patterns that are meant to push the danger or threat away. Most often, it just frustrates or angers the person we're interacting with who just wants to solve a problem or make a decision, right? The ego's job is to keep us safe, even if it does so inexpertly or in a neurotic fashion, because our basic programs and coping skills are in place by the time we are 6 or 7 years old. Not very complex or very mature at that point. For the first 6 or 7 years of our life, we are super learners, super sponges, and we pick up really useful learning, but also we pick up a lot of negative programs because our parents were negatively biased, as were their parents, as was theirs many generations past. So, if the ego's job is to keep us safe, it is going to fiercely protect our comfort zones, those habits and behaviors and lifestyle patterns that feel safe, feel good enough, feel nice and comfortable. Therefore, our ego is going to resist change. Change equals danger. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. Even though our life circumstances may be continually changing and adapting our behavior and mindsets to these changes would be a really smart thing to do, we resist. If you are living a life on autopilot, letting your ego and unconscious mind run the show, and unfortunately, I think many people do, you will definitely resist change. Would you agree with that? So it takes conscious self reflection as well as the engagement of the higher self to embrace the changes we need to continue to grow and flourish in our lives. You are listening to Dr. Diane and the Find Your Fabulous show, and you can explore all things fabulous on my website at fullpowerwomen.com. Well, that was a lot of information I just covered, so let me do a quick review. Because of our neurophysiology and the way our unconscious and conscious minds interact constantly with each other, our unconscious being hypersensitive to any sense of threat, and the ego working really hard to keep us safe, we love to stay in our comfort zones, and tend to resist change. This is not because we are dumb or weak or cowardly. It's just the way our big, beautiful brains operate. Change equals danger, and we must resist it to stay safe. But we can move beyond these safe places and embrace growth and personal evolution because we have a higher self, a soul self that is connected to the very wisdom of the divine. Let me use myself and my journey from stuck in the comfort zone to embracing change and transformation as an example. I have been a perfectionist and an achievement junkie for as long as I can remember. Using my big, beautiful brain to achieve and earn praise was my way of coping with a less than optimal childhood. It helped me achieve a Ph.D. in psychology. It also earned me an ulcer in grad school. But that was not enough to get me to want to change, to challenge this perfectionist comfort zone. This way of operating in the world, pushing myself hard to make the grade, to be on top, well, it was good enough until midlife hit. I was juggling raising two daughters, managing a household and marriage, all while working a full-time therapy practice. I was stressed a lot. As a perfectionist, I was very self-critical and constantly judging myself. Perhaps you can relate to that. I got very interested in holistic health, nutrition and meditation, yoga and acupuncture, even massage. I made a lot of changes in my lifestyle, and they did help. But I was missing the boat in a big way. I was using my intellect, my ego, to guide my journey. All these holistic practices were not helping me be kinder and more compassionate to myself. They were coping skills, life tasks, things on my to-do list that wiser people told me was good for me. It was me being a student in school once again. So guess what? I burned out around 50. Perimenopause hit hard. I was having hip problems, exhaustion, really disturbed sleep, and finally, I just crashed and burned. I turned to God. No, make that screamed at God. Please help me. I was finally ready to change. Can anyone relate to that story? So then two miracles happened. First, a friend gifted me with CDs. Yeah, they're old, I know, on how to learn self-compassion. Not only was this practice easy to learn, but for the first time, I was able to open my heart to me. Can you imagine how sweet that felt? Next, I stumbled upon a free webinar by my mentor, Dr. Claire Zaman, on something called feminine power. I was immediately hooked and I took her course and the next until here I am, a certified feminine power coach talking to you about how to find your full power. So what did all this learning and growing and stretching do for me? Well, it allowed me to finally develop a kind, honoring, loving relationship with myself. I grew to trust my gifts, my talents, and strengths. How would you like to become your own best friend? That's what it feels like. I learned a powerful yet gentle way to face and transform the limiting beliefs and old suck patterns, especially about not being good enough, so that the deeper truth of who I had become as an adult could finally shine bright. We can't erase our childhood traumas, but we can turn pain into power with the right methods. And I developed this deep, peace-filled connection to my intuition, to my inner wisdom, to my higher self, and the power of the divine feminine. I feel now that I'm guided, and this has increased my confidence and resilience to handle the challenges in my life. We all deserve such guidance, such easy connection to our higher self. Feminine power transformed my life and gave me a clear passion and mission. I was to teach the, the skills and methods and the philosophies that helped me heal and grow to as many women as I could reach. And then my coaching practice of Full Power Women and my signature program of Find Your Fabulous were born. I had to change how I was relating to myself so I could discover my mission with others. And you can bet I was afraid and anxious a lot on this journey. But since I knew that this fear was just a part of the process, I didn't let it stop me. Okay, folks, we're going to head into a short break, but lots of juiciness afterwards. I'm Dr. Diane, and you're listening to the Find Your Fabulous show. You can find out all about me and my empowerment coaching and free empowerment resources at my website, fullpowerwomen.com, or reach out to me at Dr. Diane at fullpowerwomen.com. And now it's time for a break. Hello, we're back on the Find Your Fabulous show with Dr. Diane, and we are about to explore how we can move beyond our ego's resistance to change, our ego's resistance to change, to actually embrace a growth-oriented way of life. So, first, we need to accept that the ego loves to protect our comfort zones and fills us with anxiety and self-doubt when faced with change. It's just trying to protect us. However, its frame of reference for danger is based on the negative belief system of a 6-year-old child. I don't know about you, but I think I've gained a bit of information, skills, and life experience since I was 6. And these adult resources are what I want to base my decisions and responses upon. Next, we need to accept that change is constant. This is just the mechanics of the universe. It's physics. We will be much happier if we allow ourselves to go with the flow versus constantly resist the changes that are happening. You know, our life is no longer a constant battle with the elements and predators. It's a pretty cushy existence for most of us in the Western world. We are not in constant danger. Our unconscious mind and our ego just are not in tune with how good our life really is. They are operating on dinosaur mode. Even so, our conscious mind can be incredibly creative and imaginative. I believe this is most true when we are relaxed and can tune in naturally to our higher self's superpowers. We also get intuitive hits, which are gifts of knowing from our higher self. Just think of how creative and powerful, intuitive you could be if you learned to easily connect to your higher self. Wouldn't that be incredible? So, Dr. Diane, how do we accomplish this? I'm so glad you asked. So once you accept how stiff and negative and limited your ego is, and how it's constantly being hijacked by your unconscious programs, then you can begin to move beyond this autopilot way of living. You can begin to purposely notice what you are noticing. Notice when you're being triggered. Notice the thoughts that follow. Notice your emotions and reactions. Noticing the old clunky ways is always the first step into creating new habits and coping skills. You can't effectively adopt change until you understand the patterns that are no longer serving you. Does that make sense? Then we need to begin to practice connecting to our higher self so it can begin to assist us in our healing and growth. So, how do we do this? Start simply by giving yourself 5 minutes a day to close your eyes and really begin to slow down your breathing and notice the peace and calm you create. The breath is a powerful relaxing agent and at the core of meditation, yoga, mindfulness, and even deep prayer. Once you can sit quietly and easily for 5 minutes, bump your time up to 10 minutes and add a prayer or a mantra or a visualization of going to a sacred space within you, anything your mind can conjure. Once you tune inwardly easily, start asking questions of your higher self, your inner wisdom. As you are tuned into her, open up to receiving any wisdom that will come in any format: words, a symbol, a picture, a sensation. Now, once you begin this journey, you're going to want to go deeper. So, download some meditation apps or sign up for a meditation program or connect to a coach like myself who specializes in connecting you more deeply to your spiritual self. Once I committed to doing this work and found appropriate mentors, my growth and transformation was profound. I am the first to admit, though, I am always still growing, always still learning more, and I still get stuck sometimes and need extra support and mentoring. But I've got to tell you, I really trust and rely upon the wisdom of my higher self to make decisions and find my inner peace. Do not fault yourself for not yet having this easy connection to your spirit, your inner wisdom. It is not something we learn in school or even in Sunday school. Our culture reinforces staying focused on the outside, three-dimensional world and controls us with negative messages that whip up our ego's protection mode. If you doubt this, just turn on the TV and listen to a political ad or a medication commercial that promises the moon with all these lovely images and ends with a quiet message of may cause death. If you want more power over your mind and your ability to decipher true versus false versus exaggerated information, you need to learn how to connect to your higher self. It is the built-in brainwashing protection device. Begin by taking 5 to 10 minutes less on social media scrolling, and instead sit quietly and breathe deeply. I promise you won't be disappointed. Okay, Dr. Diane, what does this have to do with embracing change and growth? So once you notice how the ego and unconscious mind work and how their autopilot habits no longer serve the beautiful being that you are. Once you begin connecting to your higher self and inner wisdom, you will naturally begin to tune into your dreams and passions that may have been put on the back burner during the busy years of raising a family. You can allow yourself to begin to ponder, what would I really love to create in my life? Then you can begin to set goals for yourself, trusting that the universe and your higher self will support you. My mentor, Mary Morrissey, teaches that if your goal doesn't bring up a feeling of fear, well, it just isn't big enough. If you know how the ego works, you can trust that the fear a chosen change produces is just a sign that your ego is nervous because that's its job. In reality, fear is just a sign that you must be on the right track because the ego took notice enough to raise the red flag. The anxiety you feel is not a stop sign, but actually just a qualifier. You are on the right track. Cool, right? Fear means you're stretching beyond your comfort zone, not that you are in danger. So go make your goals big and juicy. Check in with your inner wisdom to see if it's in alignment with your chosen goal. Then begin taking action steps, baby steps really, with the tools and resources you have right now, trusting that you and heart are in harmony with your soul self. More ideas and resources will be revealed to you. So now you have the basic tools and understanding to begin meaningful change in your life. I wish you a powerful journey of growth and expansion. I want to leave with this quote: fear can mean two things: forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. I hope you soar. Reach out if I can support you in any way at Dr. Diane at fullpowerwomen.com, and I'll have a link on the podcast description to book an exploration call with me. And you can find out all about my empowerment coaching and free empowerment resources at my website at fullpowerwomen.com. I want to thank you all for tuning in to Find Your Fabulous with Dr. Diane. I had a wonderful time. Please join me every first and third Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Central, and 11 a.m. Eastern. Next time on the Find Your Fabulous show, On August 19th, I will be talking with business coach Sarah Wisniewski about how one brave change can catalyze many changes in your life as you begin to believe in yourself and your true potential. You won't want to miss it. Bye for now, and go and find your fabulous. You deserve no less. I'm your host, Dr. Diane, and you have been listening to Find Your Fabulous. It's time to ignite your full power. Tune in every first and third Monday of the month at 8 a.m. Pacific Time on Transformation Talk Radio for information, inspiration, and revelation to ignite your personal power. Connect with other bold, courageous, and powerful women who are ready to stop playing small and reclaim the passion and purpose that we all hold within us. The world needs you, full power. To find your fabulous and ignite your inner goddess, visit fullpowerwomen.com.